Welcome back, JDC family. My name is Jay. This is my Diecast Creations channel. And today we're just going to sit back and talk a little bit, guys, and let you know how my weekend went. We met up with the legendary Long John Silver, my childhood Demolition Derby hero. I was able to, talk to John over the last couple months and figure out a good time and place to meet up. So he actually came out to Riverhead Raceway. And I was there because I was spotting for my buddy Alex in the crate modified division. But we coordinated to where he would come out and we could meet, after, probably 30 years. It's probably been upwards of 30 years since I last saw John, and I was a little kid back then, So he gave us the keys to his Demolition Derby car when we were just kids, So that was awesome. But I met up with John. I gave him the diecast that we made, the replica car, the tribute build. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out. It's in my I believe it's in the custom playlist. If not, just click videos and scroll down. It's one of the first videos we did, like within the first month or so of the channel being up. And John basically said, "Hey man, you made my year by doing this." Like, he hadn't been to the racetrack in like 10 years. So he had called up a few buddies of his. And they came down, and it was like a old school reunion, basically. Bob Finan, the announcer, he actually met up with them at the beer booth before the races started. That's when I actually went and presented him the car, and we BS'd for a while. They were telling war stories that I could only imagine the things that went down back then, but it was really cool, guys. It was really cool. I had a great night. My buddy Alex finished 6th in his race. All four wheels are on the car. It's in one piece. Great time. My nephew was not racing. He went upstate to Bethel. They had Legend stock at Bethel Motor Speedway, which is like a huge race up there. And he ended up having some issues, and they missed qualifying because they were working on the car, and got it going, started last, and they caught a flat tire about lap 38 out of 50. So that ended the night for my nephew. But by lap 10, he said, I think it was like lap 10, he had passed like 14 cars. So the kid was on fire. He was flying. The car was on. It's just, sometimes it's bad luck, Sometimes it's bad luck, and there's nothing you could do about it. So he said he had a great time, and I'm glad that he had, practice and experience passing cars left and right, So overall, a great weekend by all. But John actually said, "Hey man, later on, I got some things in the truck for you that I want to pass on to you, just for doing what you did." I wasn't expecting any of this, but I had to accept it. He's a great guy, and I asked him, I was like, "Yo man, you're not giving me anything that like is your last of anything, right?" He's like, "Dude, I have so many things from my career that these are not going to be missed whatsoever, and I want you to have them." So the first thing that he did was he gave me this picture. He said that this was his first Demolition Derby car. He took it off his wall. You could see the screw holes up top. But how cool is that, guys? How cool is that? His first Demolition Derby car. And this is a picture of it at Islip Speedway, I believe. If it wasn't Islip, it would have been Freeport. Both of those speedways are no more. They've been closed for years and years now. But really cool, man. Really cool. And when I set up my display room, and eventually show my face on the channel, this will be in the background on the wall. I've showed my face before, but in pictures. We're gonna go live soon, and you guys will get the full experience. But he also gave me all these pictures, and he invited me and my family to come up there and meet his wife, and we're gonna have a barbecue and stuff like that, and just hang out. So cool of a dude. You don't know who was who, right? But when I met John on Saturday, like, it was instant click. Totally down to earth dude, totally cool. We had great conversation. There was no nervousness or anything between the two of us. We hit it off. And it doesn't get any better than that, especially for somebody that I looked up to, as a kid. You don't know who they are. You just see what they are in the car, right? Great guy. And he had his buddies there, Gravel Buxa and Pete Pistone, two of the guys that did demos back in the 70s and 80s and upwards into the 90s. And I think Gravel actually went into the 2000s, was a champion in 2006 or something like that. So he showed me these pictures. He told me some backstory to him. And I don't remember every little thing, but I'll go over what I know. This picture here was from the late 80s, early 90s. He had flipped this guy over, and they actually stopped the demo to get him out. He had just flipped the guy over. So that's cool. This used to happen all the time back then. These big cars would hit each other, and you hit them the right way, and that thing is just, it's going over, right? So that was awesome. He gave me that. This was one of his cars that ended up in the junkyard, Hi-Ho Silver there. After it was all said and done, you take what's good out of it, and it ends up in the scrapyard, So that was cool too, and I'll set up some type of display with this stuff. This car here, he said he actually had it in a spray booth, and it was painted. He put a lot of work into the livery that went onto this thing. It was professionally done or so. And I believe this was the championship car that I had showed pictures of in the build video. So that's really cool. He was really proud of this car, and for him to pass this along, that means a lot to me. This here was Long John Silver. They used to do rollover competitions at Riverhead Raceway, and they had a rollover ramp, and you'd have 3 attempts to see how many times you could flip the car off of the ramp, right? And John said he was like a 2 or 3 time champion in the rollover competition. These guys were nuts. These guys were nuts, man. To send that thing off of there and basically grab a chain that was chained to the passenger door and lay down in the seat there and hope that it comes back up on 4 wheels. It takes a lot of guts, and you got to be a special type of person to do these things. But this is awesome. I remember these things when I was a kid, and it was just the highlight of the day. These guys would go and launch these cars off of there, and so awesome. This is another one of those rollover cars. And they actually ended up stopped doing it because these if you see right here, the pillars in the front, if you landed wrong, I should say, if you landed wrong, those things would collapse, and they didn't want anybody to get severely hurt, so they ended up stopping what they were doing with that rollover comp. But just memories that I have, and this is just another one of his cars that, after all is said and done, this is what they look like, guys. Been through the battle. You take what's good off of it and you move on to the next one. So many cars got wrecked back then. This is that rollover ramp I was talking about. You'd have 1 lap to go around the track and line it up and hit it how you please. It was always the right side tires for the most part, and we'd see these guys roll these things anywhere from not at all to, some guy, I think the record was like 8.5 rolls all the way up to the wall, And as Bob Finan would say, he almost sent it to Applebee's, which is across the highway over there, So that's just memories that I'll never forget, man. I'll never forget these things, '93 World Championship car here. Long John Silver had 2 championships in the demos, 91 and 93. This was the car that he ran in that 93 World Championship. So cool, man. So cool. Just another demo. You know, I had asked John about the colors that he used because I didn't remember. You know, I didn't remember. You know, somebody said that most of his cars were black, and I made it gray, you know, silverish or whatever. And he was like, you know, it was basically whatever paint I had laying around at the time, you know. So this is a rollover car, and John had a dummy that he would put on top of his cars, and he'd have like the legs and arms flapping around or whatever. This is actually it right there, you know. He'd have the dummy up there, and he said that the parents would come up to him after the races like, hey man, can you just tell my kid that that's like not a real person, you know? Because they were scared or whatever. But he did tell a story that once he hit a guy so hard that the dummy came flying off the top and up against the fence where the spectators sat, and he thought he killed him. He thought he killed the dummy. So that's cool. This is just another rollover car, you know. Like you could see here, whatever paint he had laying around, you know. So this was the red, white, and blue. He did say that his favorite times were 4th of July weekend. You know, and this car here, I believe this was the car that he said he Gravel Buxa, his good buddy, almost killed him. You know, he hit him so hard that it crushed the passenger door in all the way over to the driver's side, and his bumper was like a few inches from his head, you know. So that was the first and only time that he ran a car that was a 2-door with no support between the between the door and the rear there. You know, there's a support that comes up through the door there, and up to the roof. And he didn't know any better. This was early in his career, so he didn't know any better, and he sent it out there, and you know, he almost paid the price for that, you know. But this is that championship car again, the one that he had painted, you know. Just really cool, really cool. You know, back then, most of these guys didn't have their stuff in a paint booth. You know, you went in the backyard and rolled it out. And then he gave me this. He thought that this might have been me, you know, in the picture. It's not me, but it very well could have been, you know. Back then, you know, this is how it was. Afterwards in the pit area, you know, all these people would come back and you can meet the drivers and get autographs. And we would come back with our checkered flags and stuff with my mom and have all the drivers sign the flag, you know, and, you know, just good times, man. Good memories. That's not all, though, guys. After he gave me all that and showed me these pictures and went through his war stories, John came out with this. He gave me a trophy that he won on 4th of July weekend, 1991. 1991, 4th of July weekend, July 6th. He was the winner of the Demolition Derby at Riverhead Raceway. And he gave me this trophy. And I was like, dude, you're not doing that, are you? And he was like, yeah, I got so many trophies that, you know, they just sit there, and I want you to have it. So he gave me this thing, man, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. You know, look how tall this thing is, guys. He's like, you got a place for it? I'm like, I'll make a place for it, you know. I will make a place for it. So when we do get the display room set up and, you know, I start doing live streaming and, you know, I start showing my collection and stuff, this is going to be one of the centerpieces of that room, you know. Can't thank John enough, man. This is so awesome. So awesome. This trophy would have been 30 years to the weekend. 30 years to the weekend that I met John and had a great time at the track, that he won this trophy at Riverhead Raceway. And you know, I didn't know what I was doing when I did it, guys. When I made that build, and I made the tribute for John, I didn't realize that that was gonna spark his fire to get back to the track and call up his buddies and be like, yo, we need to have a reunion. You know, I didn't know all that. You know, I was just building a car because it meant something to me. And then I made the video, and next thing you know, like a couple months later, John and some of his competitors and friends are at Riverhead Raceway. Bob Finan is the man. He actually called them up into the starter stand, did an interview with them, like had them do the countdown to start off the Demolition Derby Saturday night, and then like had them on the mic as the demo's going, you know, doing a little bit of announcing, if you want to call it. You know, they got to meet up with some old friends that were actually still doing the demo, you know, and then just overall great time, you know, great time, guys. And I know I've been slow on the videos lately. You know, I've had a lot going on. My dad was here visiting this weekend, and, you know, I didn't do anything with the diecast. You know, my dad lives in Florida, so when he comes up here a couple times a year, everything else stops. You know, he's the most important, right? So, you know, I didn't get anything done this weekend. I will get to these Ferraris. We're going to get back to this. We're going to start these this week. And, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on how my weekend went, you know, and what John did, and the experience of meeting this guy. And we're gonna go up to his house. We're gonna meet his wife and have a barbecue and watch some old school demos. He said he's got tapes and tapes and tapes of you know, old school demos that he was part of, and it's just awesome. It was just an awesome weekend. It couldn't get any better, you know. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I just wanted to show you how that went and what I got from Long John Silver. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.